Michael, yeah. I'm gonna get some pictures. Oh, okay.
Wholeheartedly, we bow to you in this place of practice, this place of spiritual awakening, to the teacher who shows us great favor, Shakyamuni Buddha. Tokoge. Now we burn incense in regard to the precepts, meditation, and wisdom, liberation, knowledge, and vision, fills the 10 directions of this moment and always spreads everywhere. May this fragrance also in the following way spread everywhere, over myself and others, the fivefold body of the Dharma. Sangha. We most humbly reflect on the life of Siddhartha, the prince of kings of India, who observed aging, sickness, death, and that all conditioned things are impermanent, and who then sought for the wondrous goal of emancipation. Then, one day, he left his home when he was 19. From that time on, he made great efforts in seeking the way by visiting spiritual sages and taking up ascetic practices for 12 years. However, these methods could not resolve the problem of impermanence and suffering. Upon reconsidering, he sat on the Vajra Dharma throne under the Bodhi tree of Uruvela near Bodh Gaya, by the bank of the Nairanjana river to meditate and enter samadhi. This happened when he was 30. Although King Mara used various forms of temptation and intimidation to hinder his efforts, he was able to overcome them all. He considered the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, and dependent origination, both backwards and forwards. On the dawn of December the 8th, at the first light of the morning star, he attained complete, perfect awakening. How can we praise him enough? How can we praise him enough? Honor be to the eternal Buddha Shakyamuni, our original teacher who attained awakening in the remotest past. Thank you all for coming today very much. Today we are celebrating Jodo-e, Bodhi Day, the day that the Buddha attained enlightenment seated under the Bodhi tree. For today's service, we have our Bodhi tree, Ficus religiosa, that we started with cutting from our Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya. And it given to us as a donation. And very beginning of this particular song that we have nurtured it, and you can see where it's at now. Many times it has gotten mites, lost its leaves. We thought it was near death many times, but it always comes back stronger. You can see how many leaves are on it today, of a variety of sizes and shapes. Some perfectly formed, some shaped differently than the others, but all of them are beautiful in and of themselves. The Buddha was born in Kapilavastu, and he was born to the king Suddhodana. And from the beginning of his life, he knew the first and foremost the ultimate suffering, which is that he lost his mother within the first 7 days of his life. He did not have that influence, and so immediately he was touched by suffering. For his entire life, there was a myth associated with certain marks associated with the Buddha, that he would either become a great king, conqueror, or he would become a holy man. Now, his father, who was a king, obviously did not necessarily want his son to become a holy man, because there was a whole issue of maintaining the kingdom. So his father shielded his son from anything that he thought might allow him to see the harsher nature of life. So during the beginning of the Buddha's life, he knew nothing but peace and pleasure. He had many palaces for different times of the year. His father hid anyone old or sick from him so that he only ever saw the beautiful and the healthy. But throughout his life, in a variety of tales of the Buddha, you find that he sees the nature of life constant, even though he is surrounded by opulence. When he sees a cloud dig into the earth, he thinks of even the bugs that are displaced by such an act. As he grows, he becomes restless, and he wants to see more of his kingdom that he is supposed to rule. Finally, he presses his father enough that his father relents. But he requires that his servants go out and clear the streets of anyone that might make Siddhartha feel comfortable. Sick, the poor, nothing but healthy, beautiful, happy people were meant to be streets. So when Siddhartha goes, he sees nothing but happy people. The alleyways and the distances, he sees shadowy figures, and he wants to know more. So he later convinces his attendants to take him into the city, and he does. He views a variety of conditions of humanity. First he sees sickness, asking his attendant what this is. The attendant informs him, rather matter of fact, of something that we all know, which is that sickness will come to everyone at some point. This is not something that's imparted, but this is something that was imparted to him in a rather matter of fact. That is sickness. Sickness comes to us all. This vexes Siddhartha and he leaves immediately. And then it is said that he continues on for a variety of visits where he sees old age and death in the next 2 visits. And again, he is met with the matter-of-fact statement that we all know: old age comes to us all, death comes to us all. And to all of this, Siddhartha applies the lens of, but this will happen to my parents, will happen to my family, my wife, my future children, like everyone. In his final sojourn, he sees a mendicant. He sees a holy man, and he asks, "What is this man doing?" His matter to break the cycle of suffering, find a meaning to everything. Why we have to do these things. So this inspires Siddhartha, and he steals out on the night of his son's birth, before he's even held his own child, for fear that if he held his own child, he wouldn't have the fortitude of spirit to leave on the path that he feels that he must follow in order to try to find a solution to this conundrum of birth, old age, disease, and death that all of us are subject to in this life. Now, at this point, he cuts his hair off, he leaves in the night, and he finds the first mendicant that he can find, the first holy person that he can find, and he attaches himself to that person and says, I want to study with you. And for the next 6 years, this is what the Buddha does. In some stories, it's 12. And he goes from one teacher to another, so that he studies with 3 different teachers, mastering each of their teachings to the point that then their congregations offer to follow the Buddha, and the Buddha declines, saying that I'm not there yet. I don't understand yet. Because each teacher had only a full aspect, but not the whole truth. Eventually, the Buddha decides that he must go off on his own, that no teacher can teach him. And he becomes the most austere ascetic there is, living on a single grain of water, barely drinking, or rice, barely drinking every day. And at this point, there are a series of fellow shramanas, fellow home believers who began to follow the Buddha, thinking that he's so hardcore, he must have the insight. After this time of 6 to 12 years, the Buddha begins to realize that though he has spent all of these years in austere practices, mortifying his flesh and body, he is no closer to an understanding of the nature of mind and the understanding of why are we here, how to deal with birth, old age, disease, suffering. So it's said in one of the myths that he decided to bathe. When he does, because he is so emaciated, he's almost washed away. And it takes every bit of energy that he has left to crawl to the banks of the river and pull himself up. And as he's lying there, on the verge of death, feeling as if he's expended everything and knows nothing, that he's no closer to his goal, here's a boat come by, and on it is a sitar teacher, teaching a student how to play the sitar. And he says to a student, sitar strings are too tight. They snap. They will not play. But if they're too loose, they will not make a sound. They must be held just so. And this inspires the Buddha, and he realizes there must be a way between the extremes, between the life of opulence and the life of austerity. And at this point in Buddhism, there's a really amazing thing that happens, is a moment of grace. A beautiful moment of grace that, unlike other religions, is not provided by a God, but by a little girl who wanders and stumbles upon a naked man who looks like he's starving, lying on the edge of the bank of a river, and she offers him her rice porridge, all food she has, because she sees a fellow human being who is, and this act inspires the Buddha, and as he eats the rice porridge, he feels the energy and the vitality coming back to his body, and he realizes that in order to succeed on his mission, he needs energy. He needs to take care of his body. Not giving it too much, not giving it too little, but just the right amount. He then is said to have wandered in the woods for days, weeks, contemplating the middle path. Finally, when he girds his loins enough, he makes a vow that he will sit underneath the Bodhi tree, the Ficus religiosa. And he will sit there until the blood dries in his veins, flesh falls from his bones and his bones turn to dust until he finds this middle way. And it is said that he sat down on December the 1st, whether or not this is the date. But it is said that he sat down on December the 1st underneath the Bodhi tree. For the next 8 days, he sat contemplating this nature of mind, seeing all of his incarnations, seeing the nature of cause and effect, seeing the nature of humanity, its past, its present, its future, all of these things simultaneously. And at the seminal point on the 8th day, it is said that King Mara comes. Mara is the Buddhist symbol of desire, anger, lust, all of the negative emotions that we all possess. So as Mara comes, he tempts the Buddha many times. Lust, admiration, adoration, all of these things that all of us are subject to. We all doubt ourselves. And here at this particular point, at the seminal point, Mara has hordes of demons with it, who are all asking who the Buddha thinks he is, screaming, who do you think he is? Who is it that can attest that you have attained anything? There's no teacher here to tell you you're right. There's no one here to say that what you have found is true or delusion. Who are you to say this? And these are the voices that we hear in our own heads. And it's said that when they say this, they fire arrows that block out the sun towards the Buddha. And the Buddha sits quietly, and as the arrows approach, they turn into flower petals and rain down. And the Buddha answers Mara's question of who can attest to what you've attained, who will support or ratify what you are saying. The Buddha calmly touches the earth with the tips of his finger. The earth shakes, roars like a lion. The Buddha testifies that the only thing that needs to testify to his enlightenment is the earth itself, this Saha world, filled with all of its beings. This is the testament to that wisdom that he gained. Almost 3,000 years ago, this is the teaching that has been passed down to us. Each of us has to enter this path alone. There is no one that can do the heavy lifting for you. No one's going to save you. The Buddha said on his deathbed, you are a light unto yourself. You are your own salvation. You have to go into the woods on your own. Sit. Symbolic. But this is not the end of the story. Because once the Buddha attained enlightenment, the story has a further bit. It's said that after the Buddha's enlightenment that he wandered in the woods again, weeks, in bliss, contemplating this understanding that he comes to. In the process, it is said that Brahma, the incarnation of all deities, the All-Father, the One, so to speak, comes down to him and begs him on bended knee, please, Buddha, don't just stay here. Please go teach. Tell other people. Because Mara's final test for the Buddha was to say, okay, you're the Buddha, you got it. But these defiled human beings, they're too stupid. They'll never get it. They'll never achieve what you've achieved. It's impossible. They're selfish. They're self-centered. They only think about their own hurts. They don't have any gratitude for anyone else or anything else. They blame everyone but themselves for every little thing. Just stay here and miss out until you die. This is when Brahma comes and says, please no, don't do that. We need to teach gods, spirits, humans, animals. Everything needs the teaching that you provide, the cooling water of the Dharma. Which Lotus Sutra, the Buddha states that the purpose of all of this is to be a benefit and service to all sentient beings, to help all beings attain the same awakening that he did. And that's not on a golden pillow floating up in the air. That's right here in this Saha world, attested to by the earth itself. Water too clean harbors no life. Fish can't live in pure water. We are like the lotus flower. We can't reach our highest potential without being rooted in the muck and mire of everyday life, without being rooted in reality. Here and now. The path that the Buddha gives us is not this highfalutin ideal that we can't achieve. Because if it's not applicable in your everyday life, then what's the point? Because that's what the Buddha is telling us, is that it has to be a benefit and service in life, here, for you, now, in this defiled world, full of people that irritate the Jesus out of you. You know? And to realize that they are just another reflection of you as well. We don't like to admit it, because especially when someone's a big jerk, right? We don't like the way they're behaving. But they are really no different than we are. We've acted like jerks too. We have been deluded at different times. We've attached to things that do not last. And that's the admonition of the Buddha in the end, to remind you that all life is suffering. All life is dissatisfaction. You are going to be dissatisfied no matter what. I can surround you with everything you ever want. You're still going to be bored at some point. You're still going to be dissatisfied. You're going to still be irritated. I can surround you with your loved ones. You're still going to be pissed at them at some point. All life is dissatisfaction. And the source of that is attachment. Attachment to things, wanting things to be different than what they are. Sometimes people are annoying. And the thing that's the most annoying thing for us is the fact that we're annoyed that they're annoying. But that's okay. Sometimes people are annoying. Let it go. Don't attach to it. It's us in the end that has to be in charge of our behavior, our reactions to all sorts of different things. I think the Buddha got pissed off. Sure he did. But he also realized that being pissed off is a transitory thing that lasts about that long. And usually when you analyze it, the thing that you're really upset about never really that big of a deal. Because it too was a transitory thing. Well, it's not going to last anyways. Why get that understood? So, in the end, in the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha says that all Buddhists think of only one thing. How can I pause, help all sentient beings, thinking and feeling beings, into unsurpassed way? So, how do we do that? One of the best ways is just by example. It's not proselytizing, it's not telling people what they should do or what they shouldn't do. It's behaving in a kind and humble manner. It's modeling proper behavior without proselytizing its people. Inspiration, that's what we're trying to do. If we can inspire people's bodhicitta, their Buddha nature, we can water their Buddha seed. If we can make them feel that, wow, you know, that guy Ed over there, he really handled himself well in this situation. That's pretty good, right? That's kind of following the way of the Buddha in the end, is that by following the path yourself, you're able to act as an inspiration for others and inspire them to be better than they are. Not for their own benefit, but for the benefit of all thinking human beings. That's the end of the sermon today. Thank you very much for my long-winded. For your patience with my long-winded. Please place your hands in Hokai Join. Some silent meditation. And we'll begin. Oshingo. Please turn to page 5 of your Shoeizan book. Anjo, invocation. Honor be to the great mandala, the perfect circle of all honorable ones revealed by our founder Nichiren Shonin. Honor be to the eternal Buddha Shakyamuni, our original teacher, the Lord of the Dharma, our great benefactor who attained enlightenment in the remotest past. Honor be to the Sutra of the Lotus Flower of the wonderful Dharma, the teaching of equality, the great wisdom, the one vehicle. Honor be to our founder, the great Bodhisattva Nichiren Shonin, dispatched by our original Buddha. Honor be to Rinpoche Nichiji Shonin, the first overseas missionary. Honor be to the protective deities of the Dharma. We honor all of you. May you come to this consecrated place out of your compassion towards us. See us with the light of your wisdom, and accept our offering of chanting the sutra. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Please turn to page 9. Verses for opening the sutra. The most profound and wonderful teaching is presented in this sutra. This sutra is difficult to meet even once in thousands and millions of aeons. Now we have been able to see, hear, receive, and keep this sutra. May we understand the most excellent teaching of the Tathagata. The most excellent teaching of the great vehicle is very difficult for us to understand. We shall be able to approach enlightenment when we see, hear, or touch this sutra. Expounding is the Buddha's wisdom. Expounded is the Buddha's truth. The letters composing this sutra are the Buddha's manifestations. Just as perfume is caught by something put nearby, so shall we be richly benefited by this sutra, even when we are not aware of being so benefited, because infinite merits are accumulated in this sutra. We can expiate our past transgressions, do good deeds, and attain Buddhahood by the merits of this sutra. It does not matter whether we are wise or not, or whether we believe the sutra or slander it. This sutra is the most wonderful and most excellent taught by the Buddhas of the past, present, and future. May we meet and receive it, birth after birth, world after world. Please turn to page 11. Move down a little. Orenge-kyo, Oben Mondai ni, Iji Seisan Kyusan Mayan Joni Kigo Shai Rosu Joguchi Jin Yudo Mochi Emon Mange Kanyu Isai Shomon Yakushi Busu Jogu no Chi Shoi Shara Busu Joshi Yaku Senman Toku Shu Shobutsu Jinkyo Shobutsu Muryo Sho Yumyo Shojin Yosho Fuman Yoshu Jin Jin Nisho Ruho Riki 小説理中関係開発講習上部時代中十年中十二応援根拠無中応援人道修上料理小学小理者が将来応援期限あらびつない休息されます将来期限高大臣の無料無礼力無償利天上目立つ三枚人流最高11歳にその不動されます将来の集中分別行政書本気集団映画出身されます修了無料無縁に乗る法無実道重視されます無重無節上位者が無償長寿大事ける難形しよる物量物内の空間小事小小理小量税小量税小量税大量税力量税三量税円量税円量税下量税大量税本末宗教上小理小量税小量税小量税大量税力量税三量税円量税円量税下量税大量税本末宗教上小理小量税小量税三量税大量税力量税三量税円量税円量税下量税法演芸場、往来十郎、本来十六、伊賀特物来小教小公衆無料約千万六さや葬儀行政公共刑無収録収上流動物道依頼無料公費用収料公弁権明案に鉄不滅上上流地で公開上流上天中力上天上中上水本に不見中見が滅度高空上大見者永遠と二小活動新中上期天禄力一心欲見物不自着心上気が九州上中出上中戦下地上中上上大地不滅理法弁力法天中滅不滅両国無修上無料信用者が無料に中意節無料上等不満地単にが滅量が現状宗教の世代を空海航空意見心情の上活動人形人伝統排出理性を禁住力上天皇は早期上場材料優先有料上重症
人修斗八个十九后手干头去他给他十九手于那个手天那个天去九他十七那个满他那给三个是在十他九斗十七十天手天之之手之手手天七十手一那个手天他。一周四三三周九九日十日六十八十七十下周二天大天在西地三周八个七七七十十十来天之下一切是不是难题加起一周节口手日周十九日十九日十九手等九九一七下口多西手提波兰六六零十六十一九九一千九本一有西周一自在一干心有谁高高大两一切如不受不变差一万不变有一自在一干但是一九变大头一手有七心头一自在不走有不大后阿不走十大走七十九九九十九九十九九八九一切十十九八一八千一加九十九九十九九九
Today's Sokun, instruction from Nichiren Shonen, is entitled Hotai Gisho, Hotai Gisho, True Purpose of the Buddha's Birth. In the unquantifiable distant past, 500 kalpas ago, Shakyamuni Buddha attained the nominal lotus flower of the wonderful Dharma and declared his awakening throughout successive ages. He revealed the authentic doctrine of realization of the truth and the one who realizes it. In this age, he was again born in Magda in central India, as he wanted to reveal this lotus flower. However, the people had no capacity for it, and at the time was not yet suitable. That is why he divided the lotus of the one Dharma into three by expounding the expedient Dharma of the three vehicles according to their inclinations for 40-something years in order to draw them in. During this time, people's natures were all quite different. That's why he cultivated different kinds of plants and flowers, but never offered the lotus flower of the wonderful Dharma. That is why the Sutra of Innumerable Meanings says, after sitting upright for 6 years under the Bodhi tree at the place of the way, I gained supreme awakening. And after more than 40 years, the truth has not yet been revealed. At the time of expounding the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha discarded the expedient teachings of the four tastes and the three doctrinal teachings and other Hinayana teachings. He revealed the one great vehicle of the Sutra of the lotus flower of the wonderful Dharma. When he opened the three flowers to show the lotus flower of the wonderful Dharma, the people of the expedient teachings of the four tastes and the three doctrinal teachings received the lotus flower of the abode of aspiration, first of the 10 abodes. Finally, he revealed the opening the near and revealing the far, so that they could go on to attain the fruition, third and 10th of the abodes, and ultimately proceed onward to the preliminary awakening and the supreme subtle awakening. Now we will chant Yodai Hoku, Amyo Renge Kyo. Amyo Ikyo nandi naru zandi shaka toku kangi jobu yagunin nodeki nin jobu jotande jose toku shu jose no chitai jobu dacha sobi chi toku jobu judo no orai se toku chi jose shinju chi yujun den chi fuju metu joko no kego chi go Seiken chi gen no kuri se no shu setsu saiken ayo no. Please place your hands in God's shoulder. Please echo. Prayer. Today in this temple, we celebrate the attainment of awakening by Shakyamuni Buddha, our most venerable teacher. I respectfully decorating the altar, offering incense, flowers, candlelight, tea, sweets, and food. As Buddhist children, with pure faith, we gather at the practice hall of the perfect and sudden Mahayana teaching. In the right way, we show our deep respect. We respectfully follow the wonderful practice. In all these ways, we do all we can to celebrate this momentous occasion in the life of the Buddha. We most humbly consider the accumulation of the merit of the true practice of the Bodhisattva that fills the Dharma realms of the 10 directions. The accumulated virtue of the Buddha's stages of fruition of awakening spreads over all like the heaven of the highest truth. Compassionate vow of, I am always thinking, never stops. The loving thought of, how shall I cause all living beings without bias? Observing the time and discerning the capacity, his transformations are limitless. Stored within him is the secret doctrine of the revelation of the origin of the lifespan. Covering up his light and hiding his virtue in order to accord with the capacity of sentient beings, he sat upright for 12 years. He demonstrated the principle of returning the favors he had received from his teachers that enabled him to become a holy monk by guiding and assisting the ordinary monks who became his disciples. He considered the 5 periods and the 8 teachings that would lead people to maturity and to harvest Buddhahood. In addition to that, he laid the great groundwork of sowing the seed of the Odai Moku for the sake of the people in the latter age. We cannot imagine the greatness of his favor and the enormity of his virtue. We have determined to protect and uphold the true Dharma without sparing our lives. We offer that determination as a millionth of our requirement of that favor. May we encounter the sacred phrase, that old vow of mind has now been fulfilled. Receive the wondrous benefit of, I once vowed that I would cause all living beings to become exactly as I am. Your face is most wonderful. Your light illumed the worlds of the 10 quarters. I once made offerings to you. Now I have come to see you again. We appreciate your great compassion and great loving kindness. Today we remember those in sickness and distress, as well as those who have passed in memorial. Today in sickness and distress, we remember Gail Bull and Barbara Hardaway, Yosho and Fran Parker, Catherine May, Ricky Thibault, James Hempsey, Ellen Lawson, Aaron Floyd, Desi Floyd, Derek Floyd, Jane Foreman Tartaro, Charles D. Cederman, Hope Mosher, the patients at Rochester Psychiatric Center, the victims of the Tree of Life Synagogue shooting, Lucas Scott McCare, Barbara Hardaway, the Harisis, yes, Harisis family, Ken Williams, Janet and Jack Williams, and Melissa Earfig. We also remember those in memoriam who have passed. We remember the Hardaway family, the Kroll and Craney families, the Winter and Sparks families, the Valentin family. Jack Parker, the Bigelow and Johnson families, the Schoaf and Thibault families, the Winooski and Krasnowski families, Daniel Mayer and Cheryl Cushman, the Fay family, the Rivas family, Kazuko Jordan, Cederman and Kobayashi families, the Morrissey family, the Jordan family, the Abad family, the Kazmarski family, the Knopf family, James Conklin, Suniko Suzuki, Dennis Sullivan and Terry April, Bill Mears Sensei, Harp Sensei, Errol Scott, Wayne, Belinda Williams, Aunt Barbara, Michael Maffei, David Spence, the Adams family, Frank Benuski, Marie Shim, Jesse Rogers, Thomasina Jones, John Coltrane, Louis Lugo, Anthony Frosino, John Peterson Holcomb, Grant Holcomb II, as well as all those who have none to pray for them. May the merits we have accumulated by this offering be distributed among all living beings, and may we and all other living beings attain the awakening of the Buddha. And may the Dharma realm be equally benefited. Shivo, for initiating battle. I will cause all living beings to cross the ocean of birth and death if they have not yet done so. I will cause them to emancipate themselves from suffering if they have not yet done so. I will cause them to have peace of mind if they have not yet done so. I will cause them to attain nirvana if they have not yet done so with this body. Till I attain Buddhahood, I shall maintain my faith in the Lotus Sutra. Honor be to the eternal Buddha Shakyamuni, our original teacher, who attained awakening in the remotest past. Honor be to the Sutra of the Lotus Flower of the wonderful Dharma, the teaching of equality, the great wisdom, the one vehicle. Honor be to our original teacher's superior practice, our founder, the great Bodhisattva Nichiren Shun. Farewell. Venerable ones, remember us. Be where you like and come again at a good passion. Place your hands one last time. Body join. This time, Yin Shingo. Silent meditation of the divine Dharma of the old Moses. very much for coming today, celebrating Buddha's Enlightenment Day, Bodhi Day, Dodo Day. We have a lovely repast waiting for everyone afterwards in a better environment. You take a picture. Time those who are willing to take a picture. So much for coming and sharing. Jason. Ken, it's been a while.